Peter Thomas Fornatale back with you for our Royal Ascot preview on Thursday, the third day of the festival. Happy to be joined once again by Marcus Hersh. Marcus, how are you today?
I'm great, Pete. How are you?
Doing very well, enjoying this crazy sports marathon that's happening this week with horse racing and soccer and everything going on all around us. Wanted to talk a little bit about this Thursday card. We're going to focus on the Ascot Gold Cup, but I did want to offer a quick thought about the Group 2 Ribblesdale before we get there. This is a race where you have favorites in Wild Illusion and Maiden Sun who look legitimate. But I did just want to offer up a little bit of a thought on one called Perfect Clarity here, who I thought had a little bit of an excuse last time in that the break wasn't very good, and that was a day where the rail looked favorable at Epsom, and she raced away from it. So I just had the idea to maybe take a little bit of a shot there at what should be a pretty rock-solid price. But the main race of the day, the Ascot Gold Cup, we've got some familiar names in here, Marcus. Do you have a view on who's going to win?
I'm willing to take on Order of St. George. He's a fabulous horse. I mean, I think he could be a bit vulnerable in this race. The ground is, didn't see anything about rain. It's really fast ground. I think that'll, I'm a big Vizirabad fan, I'm in Dubai, for the World Cup card, and he's there 3 years in a row. And anyway, he's a fabulous horse. I mean, racing in France, he doesn't take on the same quality of competition as he's going to meet in this race, and the question whether he can get 2.5 miles, but the fast ground should help him, and he's there's nothing wrong with the way he's doing. He's in fabulous form. The horse that's getting all the buzz is Stradivarius, who has form lines running through United States, because Call to Mind, who was third in the Yorkshire Cup last time, well beaten by Stradivarius. He came back and won the Belmont Gold Cup in pretty impressive fashion. I mean, obviously, not the same quality of competition as the Gold Cup, but Stradivarius is just a 4-year-old, very progressive sort for Gosden. I mean, very interesting horse, but he's a strong second choice. I mean, another horse I think you have to acknowledge at least is Torsador, who was just awful in Dubai, but bounced right back, into his best form in his second start of the year, and really made strong progress through the second half of last year. I think it's a really excellent edition of the race. I'm looking forward to it.
Let's take a look at the champion stayers from Ascot Gold Cup Day last year, where we'll see a couple of the horses Marcus was just talking about. You'll see Order of St. George in the familiar orange and blue Tabor colors, finding a lot late. That horse right to the inside, that's Stradivarius, who Marcus was talking about, and that's the one I side with. The final race of his 3-year-old year, and he does well to go with Order of St. George here, not his equal at that point, but then he comes back at York last time, and as you indicated, Marcus, looked a different quality animal, like one who really might have taken the step up at 4 years old. And letting the market be your guide still seemed like one who I could end up siding with. Order of St. George, so talented, but I do think we're probably right to look to oppose him at the prices I'm seeing.
They're co-favorite right now in Antipost from what I'm looking at this moment, which just shows how much traction Stradivarius has gotten on the market. That's kind of amazing.
Yeah, I mean, at the same price, I still do like him, but I think the bet size starts to go down at that point.
I suspect you'll get a slightly better price on Stradivarius if you're in the North American tote than you are in these anti-post pools, really. Because Order of St. George is, Ryan Moore O'Brien, the biggest name horse. And, I think that the less cognizant, shall we say, money might gravitate toward him on the day.
That makes perfect sense. A couple other races we want to touch on quickly here on the Thursday at Royal Ascot. And let's start with the Norfolk. Wesley Ward looking to get off the schneid. We saw, I would say, a surprising lack of money for his first 2-year-old, Chelsea Cloisters, who went out and did not run well at all. Do you think he can turn things around with Shang in the Norfolk?
I mean, it's plausible. Chelsea Cloisters did. I mean, her asset was going to be her speed, and if you can't outbreak these European horses, you might as well have just stayed home. She didn't break. She finished 11th, and there was, I mean, his older horses, Master Marion and Hem Parade, they didn't look great on paper, but neither one of them did really much running at all in the later lesser races on the Wednesday card. I don't know if that. I mean, then you've also got Lady Aurelia, who was super flat in the King's Stand. We have to take all of these horses as individuals, but if you wanted to look at them as a group, you would say that things are not going well. Shang was, she's got more of a turf pedigree really than Chelsea Cloisters does, but she only won by a nose first out at Keeneland. She could do. She's 4-1 in anti-post. I mean, I think the horse that's the tepid early favorite in that race, Concheck, rates a pretty good chance. For Clive Cox, he had a horse that ran well in the Queen Mary today. This horse really looked good on the sort of going she's going to get at Newmarket in her debut, and there are less to choose from here. It's on a 22 horse field. I think that it's more manageable in terms of getting a handle on putting together a play.
Let's just talk very quickly about the Britannia Stakes. There was one in here I've been following called Crack On, who looked pretty good as a 2-year-old in a race that was upgraded on speed figures, especially when viewed through the sectional lens, the sort of way that what they call a fractional time analysis over there, which isn't in the UK and Ireland what it is here, and you can sometimes get an edge from the horses who come out well on it. And once again, last time, Crack On, big sectional upgrade, seemed like a horse who has a chance to me at what will be, I think, a square price, all things considered, looking about 10-1 favorite for the race in a ginormous field.
Yeah, you got to get a price in a 30-horse field. It's inevitable.
Yeah, exactly. Just the sheer math of it. So just another one to mention as we close out our thoughts on this Thursday card at Ascot. For Marcus Hersh, I'm Peter Thomas Fornatale. Stay tuned for more about Royal Ascot.